Everything you thought you knew about fasting and water is 100% wrong. And this experience will make you see your body in a completely different way. I went a full 100 hours without a single bite of food, just water. What started as a simple challenge turned into something much deeper than a social media experiment. I wanted to find out, can the human body really survive, and even transform, on just water? Is the hunger we feel just a habit? What happened over those 4 days completely changed how I see my body, food, and even life itself. Before I even started the challenge, I sat alone, and honestly, I wasn't just thinking about the food I'd be giving up. I was thinking about every little detail that might happen over the next 4 days. I knew I had to set clear rules. Not just to keep the challenge structured, but to help me recognize the difference between normal, fatigue, and the kind that could actually be dangerous. The first rule I wrote down, on a big piece of paper I stuck on my wall, was no food whatsoever. No snacks, no bites, not even juice or herbal tea. Just water. No calories. The second rule was about the water itself. I had to drink enough, but not go overboard. I set a goal of 3 to 4 liters a day, spread throughout the day. I knew dehydration could sneak up on me quickly, especially since food usually gives us a lot of hidden water, and now, that was gone. The third rule, and probably the hardest one for me, no caffeine. I'm used to starting my mornings with a strong cup of coffee. Sometimes, just smelling it is enough to wake me up. But I told myself, if I'm going to do this right, I need to remove anything that might trick my body. Of course, some people add supplements, especially during longer fasts. But I made a decision to avoid anything artificial or external. No supplements. No vitamins. I wanted to see the raw effect of pure water on the human body, no filters, no shortcuts. And in that moment, I realized the challenge had already started, even before day 1 began. My body was about to go through a major shift. So I talked to a doctor before starting. I asked him straight up, can I do this without hurting myself? He asked me about my overall health, blood pressure, blood sugar, recent test results. Then he looked at me and said, your body can probably handle it, but listen to it carefully. The moment anything feels seriously off, stop immediately. And that one sentence stuck with me for the rest of the challenge. Listen to your body. So when day 1 finally came, I wasn't just fasting from food. I was stepping into a journey of discovering who I really am. Day 1 began, and honestly, I felt this strange kind of excitement. I was more pumped than I had been in a long time. Maybe it was the curiosity, wanting to see what would happen. I felt proud that I had finally done something most people wouldn't even dare to try. At 8 a.m., I woke up like I usually do, but something felt missing. No smell of coffee. No simple breakfast like yogurt or toast. Even the water I drank felt dull, almost lifeless, like my body was whispering, where's the fuel? The first 4 hours were actually not too bad, mainly because I kept myself busy. But as time passed, the hunger started to grow. And it wasn't the usual stomach hunger. It was something else. It felt like my brain was starving. Suddenly, I could smell everything. The tea brewing in the office. The rustle of a chip bag from across the room. Even the scent of fresh bread drifting in from a nearby bakery. Everything was amplified. By 1 p.m., my body started sending stronger signals. A light headache, cold hands, and this strange kind of fatigue. In that moment, I had a choice to make. Give in to the feeling, or focus on the mission. So I decided to keep going. I drank a large glass of water and just sat quietly. I told myself, this is the real challenge, pushing through when you're alone, and your body is begging you to quit. And honestly, it wasn't just willpower keeping me going. What helped me most was this growing sense that something deep inside me was changing with every passing minute. Day 1 taught me something I had never really thought about. We don't always eat because our bodies need food. We eat because we're used to eating. Because our minds have been trained that way. And when nighttime came, it felt like I was heading into a whole new battle. Because nighttime hunger hits different. After getting through day 1, I honestly thought the hardest part was behind me. But what came next was something else entirely. Day 2 started with a heavy wake up. I got out of bed feeling like my body had been fighting all night. The first thing I noticed? A huge drop in energy. Not just laziness, it felt like my body's battery was draining, 1% every hour. Even walking to the bathroom felt calculated, like I had to measure every step. And then came an unwelcome guest, the headache. It wasn't unbearable, but it was persistent, like this steady pressure in my skull saying, "Where's the coffee? Where's the sugar?" My mind was foggy, I couldn't think clearly. But here's the surprising part. Even with all that going on, my stomach was completely quiet. No sudden urge to grab food. It was like my body finally accepted. No food? Fine, we'll figure it out. That was the first sign. My body was adapting. Somewhere in the middle of the day, I sat in complete silence. And I felt something I didn't expect, inner stillness. And that opened the door to day 3. That day changed everything. For the first time, I woke up without feeling hungry. I walked around the house, and then it hit me, mental clarity. My brain felt calm. I focused on work I had been putting off for days, and I actually enjoyed it. That's when I started researching and realized my body had likely entered a state called ketosis. That's when the body switches from burning sugar to burning fat for fuel. My energy slowly returned, but I still had waves of tiredness. That night, I fell asleep faster than usual, and it was deep sleep. Like my body was doing repairs from the inside. Then came day 4, the final day of the challenge, and the strangest one. I didn't feel hungry at all. It was like I had forgotten what cravings even felt like. My body was calm, light, and my stomach, quiet. But what really made me pause was my skin. I looked in the mirror and saw this natural glow, this clarity in my face I hadn't seen in years. And in that moment, I realized the real change wasn't just happening outside, it was happening inside, too. My focus was sharp. And my mood? Strangely, peaceful. I felt happy for no reason. Proud, even. Day 4 showed me that the human body has unbelievable power, but we rarely give it the chance to show us what it can do. What happened after those 100 hours completely changed the way I see everything. After completing the full 100 hours, I found myself asking one simple, but powerful, question. How did my body survive 4 entire days without a single calorie of food? And once I understood the answer, I started seeing my body as this incredibly intelligent machine, one that knows how to survive, adapt, and fight back. The first thing that happens when you stop eating is your body burns through the glucose in your bloodstream. Then, your body switches into a state called ketosis. In ketosis, your body basically says, "No sugar? No problem. I've got fat stored. Let's use that instead." That's when it starts burning fat for energy. But it doesn't stop there. The body also activates a much deeper, more fascinating process called autophagy. Autophagy is the body's way of cleaning itself, breaking down old, damaged cells and recycling them into something useful. Studies show that after 48 to 72 hours of fasting, autophagy kicks into high gear. And that might explain why my skin started to glow, why I felt lighter, almost like I had shed years of internal baggage. Fasting also plays a huge role in improving insulin sensitivity. Which means your body starts responding better to sugar, because there's no constant spike in blood glucose levels. This can be a game changer for people dealing with metabolic issues or early signs of insulin resistance. But let me be honest here, it's not all easy. One major risk is dehydration, especially if you're not drinking enough water. You're losing electrolytes through your urine, and without food to replace them, that can lead to dizziness, fatigue, and overall weakness. And then there's the big question everyone asks. Are you losing muscle, or just fat? The truth is, in the first couple of days, your body might break down a very small amount of muscle for energy. But once ketosis is fully in effect, your body becomes smarter. It shifts to prioritizing fat burning and works to preserve your muscle tissue, especially if you're resting and not pushing yourself too hard. The human body is way smarter than we give it credit for. But we have to learn how to listen to it, and trust it. One of the first moments that really shook me happened on day 2, right before bed. Out of nowhere, I felt this strange emptiness. It was a moment of facing myself. Then something even weirder happened. I started dreaming about food. In my dream, I was standing in front of a massive buffet, pizza, cupcakes, watermelon, things I don't even normally eat. But the dream felt real. I woke up remembering the exact taste of the food. That's when it hit me, how deeply our brains are wired to connect food, not just with fuel, but with comfort. It's like we've been trained to use food to fill emotional spaces, not just physical ones. Another strange thing I noticed? My emotions became super intense. The smallest things could make me sad, or happy. It was like every feeling was magnified. It was scary, but honest. And honestly, there was something beautiful about that. People around me had the funniest reactions. Every time someone ate near me, they gave me this look like, is this guy out of his mind? Some would say, come on man, just take a bite. Your body needs it. Others were just quietly confused. But the question I got most often was, why are you even doing this? And my answer was always the same, to find out who's in control, me, or my body. When I finished the full 100 hours, I sat in front of the mirror, not to check if I lost weight, but to ask myself one thing. Who am I now? Physically? Yeah, I had lost about 3 kilos. My stomach was flatter, my face a little leaner, but the real change wasn't in the numbers. It was in my awareness. I realized just how often we eat, not because we're truly hungry, but because we're bored, upset, punishing ourselves, or even celebrating. I felt like I had finally taken control back. Like food had been holding the steering wheel all this time, and I had just taken it out of its hands. My mindset? I felt a kind of peace, not joy exactly, not pride either, but a deep, quiet peace inside. I learned that when we finally give our bodies a break, they reward us with signals. We just don't know how to listen. And what surprised me most was realizing that my body had been loving me all along. I just hadn't been listening. When I started this challenge, I thought I was just testing out a 100-hour water fast. But what actually happened went way deeper than that. What I discovered is that your body is smarter than any diet, and stronger than any fear. Now the real question is, do I stop here? Or do I go even deeper? Some people told me, try a full 7-day fast. Others said, next time, add electrolytes. See how that changes things. So I'm asking you, what do you want to see next? Let me know, and maybe we'll take this challenge even further.